Welcome back to The Critique. Today we are dissecting a commentary script that analyzes a controversy involving Texas candidate James Talerico and Stephen Colbert attempting to blend a political expose regarding an alleged FCC ban with deep theological arguments.
Yeah, there's an incredible amount of kinetic energy in this piece, but right now that energy is spraying in every direction rather than powering a specific end. So let's just get right in.
The script's core strength is completely buried under a kitchen sink approach to the narrative that severely dilutes its strongest argument.
That is absolutely the headline issue. I mean, the writer has identified a verified inconsistency, a genuine smoking gun.
Right.
You have Talerico and Colbert claiming the FCC banned their interview. And then you have a CBS statement refuting that, calling it a voluntary decision based on equal time rule.
Which is a massive political win.
Exactly. That is a verifiable lie exposed. But the script just buries this specific, verifiable win under a mountain of tangentially related grievances about ICE and transgender issues in New Jersey schools and Jeffrey Epstein.
As I understand it from the notes, the argument is broadly that the left lies. But the script jumps from the FCC story to transgender hoarders in the UK, to illegal aliens in Florida, to crime in Nigeria, and then finally back to Talerico's theology.
Right.
By the time we actually get back to the core point, the listener has completely lost the thread of the primary expose.
Yeah, it feels like we're channel surfing through a rage compilation rather than watching a focused investigation. And there's a risk here. By including literally everything that makes the creator angry, they are actually giving the opponent an out.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Well, if I'm a listener who might be on the fence, and I hear a strong point about the FCC, but then immediately hear a rant about a transgender pedophile in the UK, I might just dismiss the whole thing as unhinged.
Yeah.
It completely loses its forensic quality.
I can see what you're going for there. So the suggestion is to adopt a hub and spoke structure, or perhaps a linear prosecutorial style. The creator should anchor the entire piece on the Talerico, Colbert, and FCC lie as the central thesis. That's the hub.
Exactly, the hub. And every other element introduced must act as a spoke that connects back to that hub. You only introduce other elements if they directly explain why this specific lie happened. If a story about a school in New Jersey doesn't prove that Colbert lied about the FCC, it has to go. It's all about discipline.
So let's look closely at the section discussing the opening hook. Currently, it takes a really long time to get to the point.
Yeah, I would suggest a radical edit to the opening. Restructure the first 5 minutes to focus exclusively on the hook. Start immediately with Talerico's viral tweet claiming the FCC ban. Don't ramp up to it. Show the tweet on screen.
Just right out of the gate?
Right out of the gate. Then, play the Colbert clip where he reinforces that narrative. And then immediately drop the hammer. Play the CBS statement admitting it was a voluntary decision, not a ban.
That creates instant dramatic tension and resolution. I mean, it proves the creator is right within the first 90 seconds.
And it establishes authority. Once you've proven you are right about the main thing, the audience trusts you on the secondary. But regarding those tangents, specifically the segment about the New Jersey second grade curriculum and the UK story.
Right.
While the creator clearly feels these are important context for leftist lies, they are geographically and topically entirely irrelevant to the Texas Senate race.
They just distract from the specific target.
They do. I would cut those entirely. If the creator wants to keep the immigration angle, which takes up a huge chunk of the middle section, it needs to be tied directly to Talerico's platform.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Instead of citing random crimes in Florida or Nigeria to attack the left generally, the creator needs to find a clip of Talerico specifically supporting the policies that allow for those situations.
And if that clip doesn't exist, cut the section to keep the attack on Talerico focused and undeniable.
Precisely. If you can't link Talerico to the specific crime in Florida, bringing it up just makes the script feel like a list of unrelated bad news. Keep the laser focus on the candidate you are trying to expose. You want the listener to walk away thinking James Talerico is deceptive, not just that the world is crazy.
That's a great distinction. Moving on to the tone of the piece. The aggressive, dehumanizing vocabulary creates a hard credibility ceiling that alienates the exact audience this piece needs to reach.
This is such a critical point on audience alignment. The script uses terms like retard, leftoid, motherfucker, satanic pedophile cult, and phrases like blow their faces off.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It is. And while the creator aims to be nuclear and diabolical to match the energy of the subject, this language actively undermines the creator's self-proclaimed goal of being a truth-teller who defends biblical value.
It essentially ensures that the only people who will listen are those who already agree 100% with the creator.
That's it exactly. Undecided voters, moderate Christians, or even conservatives who just prefer a professional tone, people who might otherwise be persuaded by the evidence of the FCC lie or the theological inconsistencies, they will tune out immediately due to the toxicity. It frames the creator not as a serious analyst, but as an internet troll.
So the suggestion here is to elevate the aggression from schoolyard insults to righteous indignation. The critique can still be furious and aggressive. That seems to be the brand. But it should attack the ideas and behaviors with precision rather than attacking the people with slurs.
We really need to consider the power of vocabulary shifts here. Let's look at the section discussing Jasmine Crockett. Currently, the script refers to her as a 67 IQ retard.
Which is purely ad hominem, and it's so easy to dismiss.
It is, but look at the actual content. She defended the truth about the FCC ban, contradicting her own party's narrative. The creator should use that clip to demonstrate that she is being manipulated by her own party or is unwittingly revealing the deception.
Oh, that's good.
Right? This frames the creator as the smart analyst spotting the contradiction rather than just a guy calling a woman names.
That is a much stronger position. It uses the opponent's actions against them. What about the violent imagery? There is a line where the creator says, "Watch them drown in their own blood."
That is very risky territory. I strongly suggest replacing this with the biblical severity the creator already leans on. The script quotes Proverbs frequently. Use those quoted Proverbs like, "A lying tongue is but for a moment to deliver the fatal blow to the opponent's character. Let the scripture be the weapon."
That aligns so much better with the theological angle of the show.
It does. Drown in their own blood sounds like a call to violence, which gets you banned and ignored. Quoting a psalm about the wicked falling into their own traps sounds prophetic and authoritative.
Yeah.
It keeps the nuclear energy but shifts the source of the judgment from the creator to the text. It makes the creator look like a messenger of truth rather than a guy losing his temper.
And on a smaller level, simply replacing the generic insults helps too.
Yes. Replace terms like gigacucks or activist retards with descriptive labels like ideological subversives, partisan operatives, or bad faith actors.
Ideological subversive sounds dangerous. Activist retard just sounds petty.
Exactly. One makes the opponent sound like a threat to the nation. The other makes the host sound like a bully. If the goal is to paint the opponent as evil, you need serious language to describe that evil. You want the audience to fear the opponent's agenda, not the host's vocabulary.
This leads perfectly into our third critique regarding the argumentation itself. The creator frequently weakens their own persuasion by conflating verified evidence with conspiracy theory and ad hominem attacks.
This is the boy who cried wolf problem. The creator presents the CBS statement, which is a verified fact, with the exact same weight and tone as the claim that Trump has zero evidence against him in the Epstein files or that Talerico is a fake Christian.
When discussing Talerico's theology, the creator often dismisses it with laughter or insults, saying, "What the fuck?" or calling him a heretic, rather than actually dismantling the argument logically.
Right, and that weakens the persuasion for anyone who isn't already a theological expert. If you just laugh at an argument, you haven't disproven it, you've just signaled to your tribe that you think it's funny, but you haven't won the debate.
So the suggestion here is to use the steelman technique to dismantle the theological arguments. Instead of just calling Talerico names, fully explain Talerico's interpretation, and then use the specific Bible verses to prove why it is textually impossible.
This respects the intelligence of the audience. It makes the dunk much harder to refute. Let's look at the concrete example regarding the Annunciation.
This is the section where Talerico argues that Gabriel asking Mary implies consent for abortion.
Currently, the creator reacts with shock and calls it insane. That's a reaction, not a rebuttal. The creator should calmly pull up the text of Luke on screen. Highlight the word Annunciation, which literally means announcement. Contrast it with Talerico's claim of asking. Show the gap between the text and Talerico's words vision.
And then you call it heresy.
Exact. You earn the insult by proving the error first. If you show the text says you will conceive, and Talerico says God asked for consent, the audience sees the lie with their own eyes. You don't even have to scream. The text screams for you. It transforms the segment from a theological argument into a rigorous fact check.
The same logic applies to the Epstein file section. The creator spends a long time defending Trump against unverified allegations, while simultaneously attacking Clinton based on the exact same files.
To make this argument robust, the creator needs to explicitly differentiate the types of evidence found. Don't just assert Trump is innocent, Clinton is guilty. Explain it. Say, here is a flight log versus here is sworn testimony. Here is a picture at a party versus here is a conviction.
Right, it needs that detail.
Without that nuance, it just looks like partisan favoritism. If you want to convince a skeptic, you have to show your work.
And finally, regarding the visual evidence and the pacing of these arguments.
I would suggest removing the hype preamble. The script has lines like, I guarantee you this one's diabolical. Cut that. Let the clips of Talerico contradicting standard Christian doctrine speak for themselves.
Show, don't tell.
Precisely. When Talerico says the Bible doesn't mention abortion, immediately overlay the text of Psalm 139, which the creator quotes later anyway. Just move that quote up. As Talerico speaks, the text appears over his face, contradicting him. The visual contradiction is infinitely more powerful than the creator screaming liar after the clip ends.
That visual juxtaposition does the heavy lifting. It allows the creator to remain the calm arbiter of truth, while the guest basically hangs themselves with their own words.
It creates that prosecutorial feel we talked about in the first critique. You present the evidence, you present the contradiction, and the verdict becomes inevitable in the listener's mind. You guide them to the conclusion rather than beating them over the head with it.
To recap, we are looking at a piece with a lot of energy and a strong central piece of evidence regarding the FCC story, but it is currently hampered by a lack of focus and alienating language.
It is a diamond wrapped in barbed wire. You have to cut through so much noise and rage bait to get to the valid political critique. The goal of this rewrite is to remove the barbed wire so the diamond can actually shine.
So here are the key actionable takeaways for the listener to improve this material. First, focus the narrative. Strip away the rage bait regarding unrelated news stories like the UK transgender issues or crime in Nigeria. They dilute the impact. Focus entirely on the verified Talerico, Colbert, and FCC deception.
Make that the hub. Everything else is just noise. If it doesn't help convict Talerico of the lie, it doesn't belong in the script.
Second, elevate the vocabulary. Replace slurs and calls for violence with precise, scathing political and theological terminology. This isn't about being polite. It's about being authoritative. Use words that describe the nature of the deception rather than the IQ of the person.
Turn the schoolyard insults into a formal indictment. It hits harder, it stays with the audience longer, and it reaches more.
And third, dismantle, don't dismiss. When countering theological claims, replace ad hominem attacks with textual evidence. Prove the opponent is wrong by showing the text they're misrepresenting, rather than just stating they're stupid.
Use the steelman technique. Show their argument in its best light, then crush it with the text. It makes you look fearless and the opponent look deceptive.
We would love to see a version of this script that implements these structural and rhetorical changes. The core scoop about the FCC is strong. It just needs a clearer vessel to carry it. Please refine this script and submit the work again. Thanks for listening to The Critique.